It's a match preview, Luton versus Manchester United. We've also got some updates as well from Eddie Howe's press conference regarding Dan Ashworth. So stay tuned for that one later on in the video. Get involved in the chat as ever, Reds, because we will want you to get involved on this match preview. But first of all, can we keep that momentum going, unbeaten run in 2024?
Yeah, of course we can. I'm excited, me. Can't have the season fizzle out, and I'm looking forward to it. By rights, go to Luton. We're in form. We're winning. We're playing 90 minutes football. And if something comes against us, we're able to battle back. And this is going to be tough. But a win there, I can't see anything but.
Okay, let us know your score predictions. You know, the big news going into this one really is Luke Shaw, and it does look doubtful.
Yeah, funny that. When I listen to Erik ten Hag, he looks doubtful, but they're optimistic. It confused me that we're optimistic that he'll play, but we're doubtful. So I don't know what was going on there in Erik ten Hag's mind when he answered the question with that, because it was very cryptic. But Luke Shaw, if he comes back needed, we can see there's going to be...
We can see how important the actual fullbacks have been, especially in the last few games, getting forward as well. You know, Diogo Dalot, I mean, a few of us have got a bit of egg on our faces with him, because me personally, I didn't think he was going to be... the first choice right back, so to speak, and maybe one for the future at Manchester United. But he's certainly staking that claim at the minute.
Yeah, he's staking the claim. I've always said he's a good player. I always thought Wan-Bissaka was above him, because I think his tackling is absolutely excellent.
Yeah.
But he's not there. Whether he change with Lindelof and brings him to the right full-back, puts Dalot there, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But if whoever's there on the left... and I think it will be Lindelof. He needs some help from the winger, Rashford, because he never got any the other day.
Yeah, you know what, with you just mentioning Lindelof there, I'm just having flashbacks about that Aston Villa game, and it just didn't look comfortable at all at left-back, which you expect, obviously, with the position he's always played at centre-back, but...
He was left on his own, though.
Yes, I suppose some of the balls he actually got given to him from the goalkeeper, and at times Harry Maguire as well didn't do him any favours. But
he didn't get any work, any work out of Rashford to come back and help him out. He was isolated a lot, and it looked bad at times for him. But at the end of the day, United came through it, and they'll learn a lesson from that. So any changes there, putting Lindelof there or Dalot, Erik ten Hag should have learnt lessons from the Aston Villa game. But I'm looking forward to it. Doesn't matter to me whoever the left back is or who the right back is. United have to go there and just turn Luton over, and they've been doing it now. They've played 90 minutes football every game now, the last 4 games in the Premier League, and I expect the same here. It's not a given.
No.
The battling, Luton, the battling. You don't go to Newcastle and score 4 goals. Yes, they conceded 4, but you don't go there and score 4, right? If you've give up. They haven't give up. They've put themselves in a good position. Listen, last game got beat by Sheffield United, and I think that was overconfidence. Yeah. They won't be overconfident with United. To them, it's like a cup final. To us, it's a big game. It's a game we must win. I thought that when they played Sheffield United, Luton, they already had the 3 points in the bank.
Took their eye off the ball, sort of thing. Yeah, they've had some decent results, some decent performances of recent games before that, and they took their eye off the ball, and that's what happens in the Premier League if you drop your standards.
Well, you take your eye off the ball in the Premier League, it comes there and kicks you hard. And they looked at Sheffield United and thought, "Oh, you're down, you'll give up, you're nothing." They got a shock. I expect Luton to be where they are, fighting for survival. They're in a good position, and I expect them to fight again. But I expect United... I just look at it and think to myself, Casemiro, Kobe, Mainoo. I just keep looking at that, and I've got a smile on my face. I'm excited about it.
Show me your smile.
And I know. But if them two stay injury-free from now to the end of the season... we've got 14 Premier League games to go. Every game's a big game. So at the end of the day, keeping them two free of injury is vital for us. And that's why I'm excited about it, because that partnership's going to grow and grow till the end of the season. United are looking for it. They're fighting for it. The players have got the tails up and going to Luton, tight ground, small crowd, but very boisterous. And it will be, like I say, like a cup final. It's a massive game for them. Man United to come to town. And you know when Man United come to town, it's always a big game. And they're all out and they're all excited.
Yeah, I agree. There seems to be a bit of a different energy and buzz about the players, what we've seen in the last few games as well, starting to score goals, etc. But I'm just going to take you to the goalkeeper, Andre Onana. Do you think that was his best performance in the United shirt against Aston Villa last week?
I said it was his best performance last week. I thought he had a really good game. Tough, but I think he's helped now. If you look at his games, he's a bit more composed. Yes, we all know there's something missing and he has to improve on it. You know, every player has to improve. Onana, he has to improve a lot, to be honest with you. There is something just missing. But with a steady back four and with Casemiro and Kobe Mainoo there, the more confidence I have in him. And so at the end of the day, I think Onana, great game. I won't say great game. I thought he had a very good game against Villa and it was his best match. So going forward, let's hope for more of them.
Yeah, something to build on. And someone I was impressed with from set pieces last week was Harry Maguire in defending him, but also going forward as well for Manchester United. And I think in the first half against Villa, he touched the ball more times than any other Manchester United player in the first half with 4 touches.
Yeah, well,
he looked a real threat from corners and set pieces.
Well, corners and set pieces against Villa, I think we had the height advantage over them. It's not often. Yeah. It's not often you get that in the Premier League. So Harry Maguire used what he's got, and he used his head, and he got up there in defence and in attack, and he had a decent game. He'll be up against it here. He'll have to battle here. They will let's call it rough house tactics will be used here against Harry Maguire. And as we know, Harry Maguire, the only thing I worry about is if when he comes out of that back four and he goes in for the tackle on the halfway line, because that's what he does. And if he misses it, he's caught out. That's my only problem with Harry Maguire at the moment, because he's playing decent football and I like it. And I'm a critic of him and I'll stay a critic of him. I'm not going to change my opinion on Harry Maguire, but at the moment, Harry Maguire is playing well in this side.
Yeah, let's hope he keeps it up like all the other players do. But with Luton, I don't expect him to play a high line against Manchester United, but we have found it problematic in recent games, or games over the last few months, even few years maybe, of breaking teams down who maybe do sit back. So how do you think we'll combat that?
I think the way Luton will come at United is straight down the middle. And like I've just said there, rough house tactics, I think they'll come straight through. They'll try and just get on the shoulder of the centre halves and whip balls in. And as
I think Ross Barkley will be key for them. He's been playing well in recent weeks.
Yeah, he's been playing well. I've got to give him that. And I've got to give Luton credit. They're doing well. They looked down and out 2 months ago, to be perfectly honest with you. But the game, I think they'll try and come down the middle. So Varane, another game, get stuck in. Maguire gets stuck in. But I just think Casemiro and Mainoo, they'll do the clearing up. I think they'll nullify Ross Barkley and anything what they try and do to come through. I think they'll just force them wide.
Rashford on the left, Garnacho on the right.
Yeah, that's how it is. Regardless of what you think out there about Garnacho, what you think about Rashford, doesn't matter. They're playing. Doesn't matter what I think. You know, if I give an opinion on Rashford, everyone knows what I think about Rashford. I gave up on Rashford a while ago, and in my opinion, quite rightly. But at the end of the day, he's there. He's going to be playing. What can I say? Ten Hag's going to put him in. You know, going to put him on the left, going to put Garnacho on the right. That's how it is. Unless there's an injury, you know.
Do you think he's actually stumbled across something as well, Ten Hag, with putting Garnacho on the right? Because I've seen a big improvement even in his performances, playing on that right-hand side. I'm not like slating his performances when he's played on the left, because he's always done a good job, but I've just seen an improvement from him playing on that right-hand side. And that's going to be a big problem for Anthony trying to get back into this team the way Garnacho's playing.
I don't think he stumbled on it. I think it's just, it's there. It's obvious to everyone what's happening. Garnacho is getting more space. He's getting more of the ball on the right. I don't know why that is, but he just seems to be playing better, running into space better, getting the ball across a little bit more. Could do with more crosses from him, to be honest with you. But he's playing excellent football out there on the right.
But it does give us something different as well from like Rashford or a right footer on the left who's more or less having to cut inside the majority of the time, whereas Garnacho being that right footer, he can sort of more attack the byline, get crosses in from that side to look for Hojlund.
I think what you're seeing from Garnacho, when you look at Anthony's play when he's out on the right wing, it's as though like Anthony comes down the right wing, and then when he gets to 2/3 down the wing, he stops and cuts inside, or he passes the ball back. Whereas Garnacho's carrying on like a winger, like what we all want. And you know, that's the difference with Garnacho. He's pushing the defence back and he's getting behind. And we've had trouble getting behind defences. But Garnacho seems to be able to do it a lot more easier than what he would do on the left. And he plays well on the left.
I think what I've noticed personally, as soon as Bruno Fernandes gets that ball in the middle of the pitch, you always see Garnacho near enough on the shoulder of the left back, ready to run into the space. But I'm just thinking the way Luton play, they are going to have to be a little bit more trickier, Manchester United, and the passing and the 1-2s to get in behind their defence is going to have to be spot on. So for me, Bruno Fernandes in creating things will have to be key and on the top of his game for this one.
I think everyone's going to have to be key on the game. But when that point you touch on Bruno, listen, great teams, what are winning all the time and all that, they automatically know where someone is without looking.
Yeah.
And what Bruno seems to be doing, he seems to be anticipating where Garnacho is, or some other player up there, or Hojlund or someone like that. Whereas before, if you looked at it, they never knew where they were. And a lot of balls, what Bruno was giving, expecting players to be there, weren't there. Whereas they're there now because they're pushing more, they're in the box more, they're attacking more, they're going for it. And he's expecting, I'm going to put the ball to the right or the left, and you better be there. And at the moment, they are there. And it's working well for Bruno at the moment. And may it continue. I just don't want to see him go back into his old ways. And we haven't seen that. So I hope, touch wood, I've not put the mockers on him.
No, I don't think you will. Hojlund, though, goal scoring form. You should have seen, the celebration which we all seen at Aston Villa when Scott McTominay scored, and after the game. Yeah, he's bang up for it. He clearly loves it here at Manchester United.
Well, clearly he loves it. You know what I mean? He's a goal scorer. He wants the goals, but I can see it continuing against Luton. To be honest with you, I think he'll overpower him. I think the movement from him and his work rate will be too much over 90 minutes for Luton. And I think at the end of the day, they'll crumble at some point. I think if United get the goal early on, I think you'll see Luton put a little bit of a fight in, but they'll leave themselves open. I think once that first goal goes in by United, I think the gaps will appear easier. They'll play it tight, I think, at first, to get themselves in the game and see what they can get out of it.
The thing is with United, if United do get that goal and it is, let's say, in the first 20 minutes, I just don't want United to drop off like we have seen, though, in recent games. We've seen it against Wolves. They did have a bit of a drop off, certainly against Aston Villa, I thought. So when we do get that goal, we need to continue that and keep going and going again, instead of just dropping off and sort of just sitting in our shape and waiting to counter-attack.
I don't think Luton will allow United to drop off. The tempo of the game, once that's set in the first 5-10 minutes, that'll be it. Luton will go for it for 90 minutes. They won't give United a minute's rest, and that'll help United, to be honest with you. They won't sit back while United sit back. It'll be a competitive game, 90 minutes, and I can't see United dropping off. They'll have to be on the ball, because it only takes one mistake and they're back in the game. That's how I see the game going. So United, I've no fears about United actually performing. I think they've been doing well this year, since the turn of the new year. And at the end of the day, I think they will just go and they will grind Luton down. I think when you look at it, I think the players are on form now. You look at Bruno, Casemiro, you look at Mainu, you look at Garnacho, you look at Delot, you look at Varane and Maguire partnership, it's fine. You look at Shaw, if he's back there, that's fine. So I think United are clicking, and
at the right time as well.
We need it at the right time. You can't have this season just fizzle out. You can't have it fizzle out. 14 games to play. After the Luton game, it'll be 13 games. Manchester United can't afford players going forward can't afford for this season to fizzle out. Ten Hag certainly can't. I mean, he spoke recently, I think it was last week, about every game being a cup final. I don't actually agree with that comment, but I know what he means. The big games. I think once you get past the next 4 games, then it can be a cup final each game based on what the other results are. But you just certainly can't go to Luton here, then play Fulham, then City and Everton, and expect the season to fizzle out. We've got to win these games. The next 4 games, you know, we've got to put in the proper performances, get the proper results, try and come away with something at City. That's hard. But Fulham and Everton, you expect United to take the points. You expect to take the points against Luton. But it can't fizzle out over the next 4 games, because it'll just be horrendous to go and watch the team, because they won't be at the peak, because they'll have nothing to play for.
Well, a lot of the players will have their eye on the internationals and the Euros then in the summer, if they know they've got really nothing to play for, and that 4th place, you know, is impossible to achieve.
Well, once that 4th place is impossible to achieve, the only thing what's there on offer, is there's a 70% chance that the 5th place could get you in the Champions League, but that's not a guarantee. So at the end of the day, they have to keep performing.
I'm just going to go on to some other news from Erik ten Hag's press conference, and it was about injuries. And he said about Aaron Wan-Bissaka, it'll take some weeks because he picked up another injury in training last week. But what concerns me is when he talked about Mount and Malacia, and he said Mason Mount and Tyrell Malacia will take some more weeks. Now, you mentioned to me, I think it was at the start of this year, that you don't expect to see Mason Mount again this year. I think you mentioned it again when you was with Webby. Yeah. Was it earlier this week or last week? So do you know something I don't, or we don't? Because when you did say that, I thought, I've seen him in pictures in training. He's been on the grass, albeit not with the squad, but individual training. But he's saying it's going to take some more weeks now.
You talk about them pictures and he's on grass, but he's not with it's PR. It's PR. Take pressure, as though like, yeah, we're working with him. He's getting back to fitness. Everything's on track. And it's no way is it on track. I've said it for a while. I think they've made a right boo-boo here. I think the injuries, when I looked at the list of injuries, what Mason Mount had when he was at Chelsea, and I look at it and the recurrence of what keeps happening, and it happened at Chelsea and now it's happening here. And if you look at United, they're not telling you what the injuries are. And I do believe that Mason Mount, there's a critical stage here where I think he's got a career-ending injury. What keeps recurring. I've seen it before in my lifetime. You know, it's not something over the last 4 or 5 years I've seen. I've seen players pick up injuries from the hip. Next thing you know, they're having a bit of the bone shaven, or it's just gripping something, and it won't go away.
You're looking
and
at
it's
players
persistent.
in the past like Ronnie Johnson, Hargreaves. But I know they were knee issues. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but it's an injury. Yeah. You know, and it happens. I do believe that Mason Mount. You know, and I've got nothing to bear it on because no one's actually telling me what his problem is, and that's the problem with Man United at the moment. All these injuries, they're not actually telling you.
So you're basing it off then his previous injuries, and then
I'm basing it, yeah.
I'm basing the time that he's actually been out then for Manchester United.
Yeah, of course I am, yeah, and I'm looking at the scale of injuries and the time he was out at Chelsea. I don't see this player getting back to the player what he was before the injuries at Chelsea. I think United here might have made a right boo-boo, and someone has got to start asking questions about getting these players in and putting them through medicals.
Looking at Malacia as well, as I'm trying to search for what the actual issue is, it just comes up unknown injury, but it's been out since 18th of July. Again, you know,
there's no such thing as an unknown injury with this kid or any of them.
No, I'm just saying the facts of what's out there, because obviously they're
but it's what United are saying. United aren't telling you what the injuries are, which is baffling to me. Malacia didn't look as though it was that bad, but it's obviously turning into a bit of a nightmare.
I think you're talking about Mason Mount there. You know, we've got a player who's still in the squad here, Anthony Martial, whose body seems to just keep breaking down once he starts getting into like 3-4 games, and then he suffers another injury, whether it's a muscle injury, a tear,
something else,
calf, you know.
Yeah, it happens.
It's like once one goes, another part goes, and
well, that's what's happening with Mason Mount, and it's obviously something.
Well, I hope not. No, fingers crossed. It's an opinion.
It's my opinion. That's what's happening with Mason Mount. Yeah. But the thing is, Wan-Bissaka picked up an injury while coming back into training. It happens to players, and maybe somewhere along the line they've got to look at what's happening in the training and the physical side of it, where they do all the preparation with the doctors and everything else like that. Something is clearly wrong, because the amount of injuries and things aren't getting better.
Yeah, Ten Hag did say in his press conference as well about bringing new staff in under Ineos, and he said, "I'm very happy in this construction. At Man United, you don't do everything alone, and so you need to have very good people around you. I am very happy, but a club like Manchester United absolutely need it." Now, just that part where he says, at Man United, you can't do everything alone. Is that a little like back statement as to say, this is what I've been having to put up with at Man United, me having to do everything on my own, come out to the press, talk about the ownership issues, what we're going on, going out there looking for transfers on my own, not having the adequate help that is needed for a manager?
I don't know whether it's a moan or a gripe or a little dig. Listen, everybody inside Manchester United knows that he's had to do it on his own, and that the best in class hasn't been there, or there's not been enough people there to help him in the background. So yeah, a little bit of a gripe, but at the end of the day, things will change. And by all accounts, when I was listening to his press conference, I think things are changing.
Yeah, just going to go into Eddie Howe's press conference, which he done earlier today on Friday. And he was asked, obviously, about Dan Ashworth and all the reports. And he said that Dan Ashworth hasn't told him he wants to stay at Newcastle. It's been in the news a lot. And usually with these things, that means something is going to happen. But as we speak now, we've had no contact from anyone. Whatever happens, we want a quick resolution.
Well, a quick resolution would have been knocking on United's door saying, what's all these stories? Someone's playing games somewhere, aren't they? Are United playing games? Are Newcastle just holding off? As Dan Ashworth already spoke to someone inside United, but the officials haven't. There is games being played. And I did say the other day, these games shouldn't be played. It's a simple, an inquiry should have gone in. I don't understand the games. And when managers are perplexed about what's going on and they can't give answers to straightforward questions, games are being played, and it does people's heads in. So I think Eddie Howe there, and I think a lot of people in Newcastle are a bit irked by it, but they should push the issue, and they should have pushed the issue a long time ago. The same with United, getting a little bit madness, really.
Yeah, just going to change that light, but I'm just going to read a comment out from Vincent, which is a super chat. Cheers, my mate. It says, what's happening with Mount and his injury record just shows how bad Murtough is at his job. He should have known about this injury record before buying. Now, I have also seen links from journalists, certain ones, linking us to Josh Wilcox from Southampton being the director of football here at Manchester United, which surely would mean the end of John Murtough.
Well, the end of John Murtough. Well, the end of John Murtough is coming. There's no two ways about that. Who's going to replace him? Get the right people in. To be honest, there's that many names coming out now. There's just a big list. When we spoke to Laurie Whitwell, he was mentioning different names for different roles in the club. It's just a continuing saga of names. And until someone who is now in charge of the footballing side comes out and says this is what's happening, then we don't really know. It's a bit of a farce. Eddie Howe's at conference there, he don't know what's going on. Ten Hag doesn't know what's going on. So how are we supposed to know what's going on? We know we need people in place. And at the end of the day, I've looked at the last few weeks and I've been getting a little frustrated or a little bit eager or overhyped or whatever, because I want things done now. And I think we all want that. And I think I have to go back and relax and sort of like sit back and say, hey, summertime, we'll know it all. But, I'm a football fan, and I need to know sometimes, and I push it too much sometimes. But I just need, and I think we all need just to sit back and give the people in charge, Ineos, time to get everyone in place. Stories are always going to do our heads in, but this is just getting a little bit silly at the moment.
Okay, just going to dive into the chat. Cheers for your super chats, Amy Assa. He says, Tony, great channel.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Do you see Mbappe joining United or Arsenal, ? Also, do you admit we are favourites after hammering West Ham, which I think he means the Premier League? Better than City and Liverpool winning it, I suppose.
Uh,
Do you want to answer the Mbappe first?
I'll answer the Mbappe. Listen, Mbappe's only going one place, and that's Real Madrid. Okay, man of his talents. He needs the superstardom. That's what he is. He needs to go to Real Madrid. That suits him perfectly. I think he'll get the money there. Coming an English side, no chance of giving him that money. No chance whatsoever. So
I wouldn't want Mbappe at United. Do you think? I think he brings way too much baggage. Way too much. The only thing positive, well, not positive, but the only thing I can see maybe coming out of this deal from Mbappe going to Real Madrid is then PSG coming in for Marcus Rashford in the summertime.
Listen, you look at Mbappe, let's get something straight, okay? We've had player power here, okay? We're getting rid of player power. Mbappe tells Paris Saint-Germain what he wants and what they've got to do for him. So let Real Madrid have him. Yeah. And if Arsenal want him and they go for him, I'll tell you what, you've got a right handful there.
Don't get me wrong, I think he's one of the best players in the world, Mbappe, but I just look at his profile, who he is. You know, when you've seen documentaries, which I have on Mbappe, you know, his team that are around him, you know, what they're all getting up to and that. And I just think it'd bring...
It's just a mess.
A nonsense to Manchester United. But I'm going to leave it there because the light's gone out and I do give you just one job to do with the lights, but, you know, you've not charged them up correctly. So I'm going to have to leave it there. But score prediction before we go.
Score prediction before we go. I'm actually looking at 3-1, to be honest with you. I think it'll be a comfortable win. I think it'll be a tough game, but once United get the goal, I think it'll open up more chances will be there. But United can't concede the first goal because Luton will battle. There's no two ways about it. Luton will battle.
Yeah, going 3-1 Manchester United. Hojlund on the score sheet. Maybe McTominay again. I think McTominay should... I've seen a lot of chat, to be fair. People thinking because McTominay has been playing well in the last 20 minutes, then that deserves a start. But for me, why try and change something that's not broken?
No, that's what I'm saying.
This is one of his best periods here at Manchester United, playing football. And if he's better at coming on for the last 20 minutes, just like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer used to. You know, even McTominay's grabbing goals in the last 20 minutes and he's doing a job. So let's keep him as he is for the time being. You know, keep that form, hopefully what he has been showing the last few weeks by coming on. And let's see if he can grab another goal against Luton.
Look, McTominay's a squad player, a good squad player. Yeah. We know what he can do. Yeah. Okay? The end of the day, you need him in the squad. There's injuries there, and then he'll have to start games. That's fine. He can do it. Can he do it over a long period? We've not seen it over a long period, and that's the problem with McTominay. Yeah. But when he comes on, he's going to give it all. And at the moment, the kid's on fire this year, not just for United, for Scotland as well. So he's got something to fight for, you know. So at the end of the day, McTominay, I can't see him starting because, like I said at the beginning there, we know what the forward line is, regardless of if they're playing good or playing bad. And I'm on about Rashford. You know, I don't see anyone anywhere, and I haven't for a week now. I've looked round, and all I've seen is like Rashford. What's he doing? You know, and these are commentators. These are people what have played football at the highest level, and they're saying I don't understand it. And then they just turn around and go, well, Gareth Southgate trusts him.
No, what it is with Rashford.
No, but Gareth Southgate turns around and says, you know, they're saying he's going to be in the Euros, right? As though like it's doesn't matter what he's playing like. Well, it seems to me it doesn't matter what he's playing like for United. Eric Ten Hag's going to play him.
Well, Gareth Southgate's clearly got his favourites in that England squad. And who knows what's in players' contracts these days, whether they've got to play a certain amount of games and extra bonuses or clauses that they've got into the contracts. You know, there is rumours out there that certain players around the world have got to play a certain amount of games and to get a certain amount of a salary each year or payments each month. Who knows what's there? You know, it was a big contract that he signed last summer, and some of his performances that he's put in this season haven't warranted a start for the next game. But for me, you know, you looked at that Aston Villa game, and I seen our comments on our channel that day, and a lot of people went in on Rashford, and, you know, rightly so. I can understand where people are coming from, but he was making good runs, though, that day. He was carrying the ball a few times I seen in that first half, looking to create chances. But for me, with Rashford, when he's got too much time to think with that ball at his feet, more often than not, they'll run into a dead end or make the wrong decision in passing the ball. To me, I think it's all about instinct with Rashford. When he's not got time to think on the ball, that's when he's at his best.
He's not good enough then.
But no, listen, I can't not agree with you based on his performances this season. And it needs to be looked at going into the summer. And if there is some teams out there, possibly PSG, who put big bids in, it will have to be looked at and a serious consideration for Manchester United.
Well, if
that goes for any other player who aren't.
It goes for any player.
Every other player.
Goes for every player. I'm not, you know, when you talk about someone who's not performing, not putting it in, you know, how long do you give him? You know, Rashford's had long enough here at United. He knows what it is, and he knows what he has to do to put it in. And at the end of the day, as I've said, you know, the writing was on the wall for me at Newcastle away. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I won't be happy if he's not moved on. If he improves, so what? I know what he's like. I don't trust the man. Yeah. And I've said it time and time again. So it's not as though I'm going in on him, right? You know, I just finished with him, and his end product, it's not there. You know, you say he needs to have that little bit of spark and, you know, do this and do that, and it gets the space. He's getting the space because he's falling back and standing in space and receiving the ball, and his end product is nothing. So at the end of the day, I don't understand why he keeps playing. But I go back to what I said at the beginning. He will play no matter what. Strange.
Yeah, maybe that goes back to the squad and the squad depth. Is it got enough quality to replace people who aren't performing in certain games, then to replace them in the following game? I don't think we've got that just yet, especially in the attacking areas. But yeah, I'm just going to finish it up there. What's your score prediction again?
3-1. What's yours?
3-1 as well.
Oh, 3-1?
Yeah, I'm going 3-1 Manchester United.
Get it in. Yeah. Get that score prediction in.
I think Hojlund will get on the score sheet again. But yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us. If you've enjoyed today's video, leave a like, help support us. We will be back on Sunday with a match reaction. I'm not too sure if Webby is available or not, but if he is, we'll get 2 match reactions out and then possibly do a match review about 8 o'clock on a live. But just like to thank everyone for joining us again. Enjoy your Friday and your Saturday, and we'll see you again Sunday. Thank you.